modern sporting rifles.
Here he goes. Yes, it's Dean Obeidallah. Yes, it's Dean Obeidallah. Dean Obeidallah.
Hello.
Hello, how are you guys?
Good morning, Dean. There's a new a gun nut caller has a new euphemism for a military assault weapon. It's a modern sporting rifle.
It is.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, what can you say? I mean, that's the least of the concerns. I mean, you can go whatever you want. There's 300 million guns in America, so I mean, I guess you can name every single one and give them their own little cute names and stuff like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was interesting. He called this morning because you have this great piece. Will the NRA's Wayne LaPierre ever stop lying? To which I can say immediately,
Computer says no.
No, he will not.
Spoiler alert: no, it's a big no.
No.
It's not going to stop. He won't stop. And in the article, the title is real. You know, the title kind of sums it up. But I go through it factually. The stuff that Wayne LaPierre, the executive vice president and CEO of the NRA, it's amazing he's CEO, but he didn't give himself the president job. But he's CEO, has said about Obama and now Hillary Clinton. But Obama, over the years, even when Obama was a candidate, and the way to phrase it is the same thing they said this weekend. The government's coming to take your guns, everyone. They're going to take your guns.
Obama's coming to take your guns. Now Hillary's coming to take your guns, right?
Exactly. They pivoted right from that. And that voice I was doing was an impression of John Fugelsang doing an impression of the right wing.
Yes.
That was an impression within an impression. Like
it was very
Inception.
good.
That was like a dream within a dream. That was John within a thing.
Yes.
Sure.
Thing about that thing.
It was multi-layered and delightful.
It was Inception.
Yes.
It was Inception, an impression Inception.
I've always thought of you as an enigma wrapped in a riddle. Anyway.
But I mean, he said this weekend, again, the same stuff. Their model for the entire convention this weekend that just passed was if they can ban one, they can ban them all.
Oh, boy.
The one being guns, I assume.
Oh,
So that's the idea. If they being the government. So if they can ban one gun, they can ban all the guns, and they're going to ban your guns, so you better buy more guns. That's the bottom line. Let's be frank.
As you were saying, it would be impossible to take even a fraction of those 300 million guns away from anybody. It is amazing that they keep duping these poor people that keep sending money, right, or buying more guns because of this ridiculous fear-mongering.
It is, and the only time we've ever, and I noted in my article, the only time we actually had a ban on a specific gun was semi-automatic weapons, the assault weapons ban that President Clinton signed in 1994 that expired in 2004 because Congress didn't have the courage to renew it. They didn't take anyone's gun. If you had those guns or the ammunition for it, it was grandfathered in. So even then, when they actually did ban a specific weapon, no one went to their house and go, "Hey, buddy, you got an assault rifle? Give me the assault rifle. It's gone."
Right.
They got to keep it. The federal government couldn't take private property of individuals without compensation if they wanted to. But even the one example of a specific gun ban that had been allowed, then no one took it from anybody's hands. They got to keep it forever, and then the assault ban kind of expired on its own in any event. So that's part of it.
Well, I mean, as you say in your article, the NRA publicly claimed Obama wanted to, quote, ban the use of firearms for home self-defense and ban the manufacture, sale, and possession of handguns. That was simply and utterly a fabrication by the NRA. But as you say, unsurprisingly, after Obama was elected, we saw a massive spike in gun sales. I mean, and it's funny, you quote a guy saying more than after Katrina, 9/11, Y2K. I mean, it is amazing how
it is. And I quote, the exact words of Wayne LaPierre, which when they said Obama wants to, in quotes, ban use of firearms for home self-defense and, quote again, ban the manufacture, sale, and possession of handguns. That is absolutely a lie. President Obama, when he was a candidate in 2008, that's when this came out, he said he's going to protect the rights of gun owners. He believes the Second Amendment gives a personal right to own a gun, which the Supreme Court in that year, in the famous Heller case, actually had made that pronouncement. So he has never, ever said he was going to take anyone's guns. And that shows how ridiculous the NRA is. Like he's going to ban firearms for home defense and stop the manufacture of guns in America. That is an unabashed lie. There's no way. It's not spin. It's not like I could see the argument. No, they made it up. Just made it up and put it in writing.
You were saying this whole NRA convention was basically an anti-Hillary rally.
It was.
I love this. Wayne LaPierre said, Hillary Rodham Clinton will bring a permanent darkness of deceit and despair forced upon the American people to endure.
That is so Game of Thrones-esque.
It was.
Right?
Winter is coming. Get to the wall, everybody. They're coming for us. She's going to bring permanent darkness of deceit and despair. Who wrote that for me? It has alliteration in it and everything.
She's the mother of wolves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shakespearean. They hired someone to write it because I like LaPierre better when he just says the stuff. He usually says, he actually said Hillary Clinton hasn't met a gun control bill she hasn't liked. That's much more of the LaPierre. This other stuff, it was beautiful almost. It was poetic. I wanted to buy a gun afterwards. I'm like, I need a gun. Permanent darkness is coming.
Yeah.
Get me a gun.
You can only shoot your way out of the permanent darkness. Yeah. You said
light up the darkness by shooting into the air.
Ted Cruz joined the fear mongering. He said if Hillary Clinton is going to join with Barack Obama and the gun grabbers and come after our guns, then I say come and take it. Ooh, it's so manly.
It's so Canadian of him. That's what Canadians say. They say stuff like that. So Ted Cruz, being the Canadian that he is, was like, come and take it, and the maple syrup and all that stuff. The idea of gun grabbing is
it is to laugh. Yeah.
And I know in my article, in 2013, 90% of Americans supported universal background checks. 90%, and that couldn't even pass Congress. And that was only a few months after the Sandy Hook shooting, where 20 children were killed, and they couldn't pass universal background checks. So forget ever banning a gun or banning ammunition on a federal level. It's not going to happen. The NRA is very, very powerful. And not only that, but there are Democrats who live in states and love using weapons and guns, and legal ownership of guns is protected by the Second Amendment. There's no doubt about it. It's protected. Even I, as a liberal, have never said, let's ban the guns. Let's go take people's guns. I don't like guns, but they're here to stay. We have 300 million guns in this country. Literally one per person, but in reality, it's on average, I think, 4 or 5 owned by one person, and the rest of us don't have many up here.
Well, you say, actually, the reality is, while they've been doing all this fear-mongering, Republican-controlled state legislatures have actually been weakening gun laws across the country. Just last year, as you say, Republicans in Georgia passed the Guns Everywhere bill, which makes it legal to carry guns in bars. What could go wrong?
Sure.
School zones and parts of airports.
Oh, good.
Right.
And my favorite is 11 states in recent years enacted, try to pass laws that nullify federal gun laws. They call it firearm freedom. That's their religious liberty, but for guns. That's the same idea. Because firearms need freedom. You have to understand. They just can't. You can't hem in my firearm. It's not just a different culture. It's really a mindset, because I got so much angry emails, as you would expect, from this article, from people who were mad, and they are armed, too. It's one thing to piss off just bigots, but when they're armed bigots, it was like, all right. One person did send me a picture of holding a gun, but he didn't say anything threatening in it. I think it was subtle. But, like, you're never going to take this gun from me. I'm like, I don't want to take your gun. No one's going to take your gun.
Right.
Chill out. And that's part of it. And I get emails and tweets going, they are coming from our guns. And I go, who are they? And they'll say the federal government. And I think in their mind, while they hate Obama, they still view the federal government with suspicion, even if it was a Republican president. Maybe it's less likely they're going to take their gun, but they view the federal government with suspicion, and they're arming themselves, as we've learned, to fight that day when that big day comes of judgment against the federal government. When the federal government comes to take their guns, they're ready for war, some of these people. And it's a mindset I never knew about until the last few years. First time I ever noticed it.
The tragedy, as you say, the truth is every day 30 Americans are murdered by gun violence, and 53 Americans use guns to commit suicide. And that's the reality of today's armed America, right?
Yeah.
That didn't come up at the convention, as you might imagine.
Yeah, that wasn't mentioned? Huh, that's weird.
No, they didn't have like a banner. 30 killed today. Let's talk about it. Nothing. It's demonizing liberals, demonizing Hillary, demonizing Barack Obama, and anyone who would want to impose or enact any kind of reasonable gun safety legislation to reduce the number of Americans being killed, including laws that require safe storage of guns. The NRA opposes that. Any kind of limits on the size of a magazine. Forget AR-15 bans. That's not going to happen. But any kind of reasonable thing, even banning cop killer bullets, you see them opposing that. So it's an irresponsible result.
Yeah.